Hey guys, well, and today I got a deck profile for you guys, of course, because just went to regionals in Fargo, North Dakota. North Dakota's an amazing state. Not really, it sucks, but just played regionals there, just got back a little bit ago, and figured I'd give you guys a little deck profile and tournament report, just because that's what I do apparently. Plus, it's beginning a format, so we might as well, like, share deck ideas or whatever of how we think stuff should be played. And I don't know, my deck did really well. I just had a really unfortunate last round, so I figure I'm just gonna go, say all what happened in my tournament shit, and then I'll get into showing the deck and whatever. But anyways, yeah, just a quick recap. We only had like 60 people, but they're actually like, no one there was overly bad. It was, a good amount of good people. So yeah, it was only top 8 for invites too, and top 8, top 8. So it's like top 8 got invites and the mats, so blah blah blah. So I only went because I wanted a top 8 anyway, because I already have my invite. So I just wanted the Virgil mat because I'm playing Burning Abyss. But right when I played Spellbooks, because of this card, I kind of did them good. Plus Fire Lake is amazing, and they kind of bricked game 2 because they just had all back row and no like spell books to work with. And game 1, like, he threw me for a loop a little bit by going Justice, but I was able to recover well enough because I was expecting to go Blue Boy, and then I was gonna Mind Crush whatever he got from Blue Boy, but then he was like, he had a Wisdom in hand, and then he also had the Power, and I had a Wing Blast set, and it was just weird because I didn't want him to resolve the Justice, but at the same time he added a Power, so it was like, I don't know, it was weird. But yeah, beat Spellbooks. Round 2, played Tellers. Tellers is honestly an easy matchup for this deck, but it was really funny because game 1, I was like, he went just go summon Deneb, add Vega, set nothing past turn, so I'm like, okay, he got a bad hand. So I just go off. I have a Fire Lake, and I had a Fire Lake Compulse and a Wing Blast. I'm able to go Dante and some other bullshit. I think I went Dante Skarm. So I just attack over attack, because I think I left Skarm in attack because I had the Fire Lake or whatever. So I pass turn, he goes Vega, Altair, Deneb, and I was thinking I could just Fire Lake all 3 of them, but I might as well wait till I see what he goes out to, and then Wing Blast that, and then use Fire Lake on any back row, and then just win the next turn. But I forgot Trivial existed. So that was kind of hindsight on my part. But then game 2, I just, yeah, it wasn't fun for him, but it was fun for me. And then round 3, played Shadows. The only game 1 I kind of just went off very easily, and then game 2 he just chained his parents to me twice, I think. And then game 3 I got enough initiative built up where I was okay. So round 4, played, it was like the Vanity's Fiend, Majesty's Fiend deck, where it's just, Stormforth and tribute their shit. And then, like, the only reason I really lost is because I opened a combination of, like, both games, Mind Crush and Bottomless, when he had the one continuous spell that made it so I couldn't destroy or target them, his tribute summon guys. And, if I do Mind Crush Stormforth, that's not going to do anything. And yeah, he had enough tribute summons in hand to where I couldn't really do anything, so kind of lost that. And then round 5, played Geargia. I was actually supposed to play the round before, but they did a repair. Geargia matchup, like, he made Nick Shadow Mirrors, so he got me game 1 because I didn't really have the stuff to play it out with. Game 2, I kind of grinded out for a bit because I had an opportunity where I could go to use a Fire Lake, but the problem was I only had the Dante and then that Burning Abyss monster on board, and I already knew he had Wiretap, so I couldn't risk him whatever. So I waited until like he ceasefire, because he had 2 set monsters and he ceasefires, flipping up his monsters. So now I know what he has there, and it's like, okay, now I win. And then it was like towards the end of that game, we're playing out. I Wing Blasted a Arsenal the previous turn, and then he summons it. It's his only card he possesses. I go Karmic Hut, discarding Graph. I already had 2 Dantes on board and another Burning Abyss monster, and I Karmic Hutted that away, and I was like, he had literally nothing else. I was like, okay, that's game. Let's go to game 3. And he I start getting my shit together, and he's like, wait, why are you scooping? I'm like, I won. And he was like, that's kind of a dick move to do. You haven't, like, shown me how you won. It's like, can you not see the board? Like, I get it was a little preemptive of me, but when it was obvious game on board, I feel like, you should have just fucking whatever. But, And then game 3, it was just... he did not understand a lot of shit. Like, I went Dante, detach for cost, mill for cost, and he was like, oh, chain macro, all your shit goes banish. I'm like, no. And then he went black ship to try and get rid of my Dante, and I thought that because black ship said to grave he wouldn't be able to use effect, but then a judge said he would be able to do it, I just wouldn't take damage because the macro was on board. But then I just wing blasted the macro, so I got all effects, and then I just went off and won. And then there was some other stupid bullshit thing, but it was just like, called them over for just... Oh, and then he arsenaled, and I chained emptiness, and he was like, no, arsenal's inherent. I'm like, yeah, it was just annoying, one of those things. And then round 6, which was the last round, I played against Quill-Offs. There's only like 2 Quill-Offs there, or like 2 or 3. And that one was interesting, because game 1, he just opened up the skill drain, and I didn't really have much back row to play with to, maintain any advantage, so he kind of got that. Game 2, I had the right back row to do it, and then game 3 was the brickiest hand I've ever had in Yu-Gi-Oh! It was a Fire Lake, 2 Mind Crushes, and 2 Black Horns, and I drew an MST, and he was going first. And I didn't draw a monster for 3 turns. Like, I couldn't even play Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's the only reason why I didn't get my top 8, so that was just great. But, at least it wasn't any real fault of mine, and I'll take solace in that. But anyways, without further ado, let's just get into this so I can stop bitching. Whatever, 3 Scarm, 3 Graph, 3 Seer, standard there. I play 2 of the Tuner just because, like, half the time I only need 1 and I can resurrect it or bring it out when I need to, but it's also just a name in case I need to, special summon something, so that's why I play 2. I wouldn't up it to 3 because it doesn't do anything else. And honestly, like, in a sense, Virgil isn't that important, but I'll get into that later. And then I play 1 of each of the new guys, so Alich and Cowcab. Cowcab actually does come in handy when you need to make a push for game, but it's not the best ever. It's a 14, so that actually does help a little bit. This guy is useless except for the fact that he's just another name to special summon, so it just helps with first turn plays and all that shit. So that's the only reason why you play it. I half the time side it out, but it's there just so I can get plays quicker. So, yeah. And then standard 3 tour guide. 3 mathematician. Honestly, I'm on the fence with this, but it's like, it's a necessary evil, because the thing is, with the tempo of how the deck is now, I feel like it's not as good. And honestly, I would always at least side 1 out. I would try and side him out as much as possible, just because I'd half the time have better plays to do turn 1 than go mathematician. It's like, I could get my board set up, especially with Fire Lake now existing. It's like, I'd rather get a board set up than have to wait a turn for mathematician to give me a chance to get a board. So, I don't know. Mathematician I'm iffy on, but right now I have nothing better, so. And then last monster BLS, because I thought it'd be live enough. I sided this out half the time just because of lack of being able to go into it consistently, so I'm probably just going to take it out. Like, it's a good card, but it's the fact that you can't go into it consistently enough. Like, yes, Dante's go to grave, yes, everything's in grave, but you mill this half the time, or you don't have it at the right moment, so that's my monster lineup. It's 20 monsters. And then I play 1 spell, Foolish. I did not main deck MSTs, and Foolish is just too good not to play. Like, it gives you instant plays, so, But I didn't main deck MSTs or Upstarts or Supply Squads, because I felt like Upstart, you're a deck that can OTK, and it's a soft OTK, so I feel like Upstart isn't as good as it could be, and you're plussing enough anyways, so, I mean... Honestly, I am considering Upstart like over Mathematician or something, but right now I didn't justify it right away. And then, like I said, MSTs, like, my back row lineup should... Because the only reason I wanted MSTs was to deal with Quill-Offs, but with my back row lineup, I felt secure enough with dealing with Quill-Offs, and I kind of was, but it's just I didn't get it at the right time, and it just, wasn't the best. But, Foolish is my only spell. And then I play 19 traps. 3 Fire Lake. When this card was first announced, I thought I was only going to play like maybe 1 or 2. But when I actually started playtesting, this card became amazing. And like basically this, open up with both of these first turn with a Seer and a Dante on board. And if you have a Graph on the Dante for some reason, you just win with this. It's just, even just a Dante and a Skarm, you still plus insanely, and you clear your opponent's board, and it's just, card's too fucking good. Plus, you can add this back with Dante and make some really clutch plays. That's actually how I was able to beat Girgia, because he had Shadow Mirror out, and I had doubled Dante. I had to let a Dante die, add this back, and then that gave me my plays. So, yeah, Fire Lake's amazing. Wing Blast, still good. I don't know. Then, something I think is really good right now, triple Mind Crush in the main deck. Like, yes, that led me to my brick hand, but it's a brick hand that shouldn't have fucking happened. But, Mind Crush. Reason why is because you're a deck that should have at least one monster half the time in your hand that you want to discard, and you play enough scouting materials to where you can either get a card out of your opponent's hand, or you can just call something so you can trigger one of your own effects. And like I was saying about the Quill-Offs, like, if they go Summoner's Art for Scout, or it lets you scout their resources so that you know how to play around their resources and when to use what. So, I don't know, I think it's just an amazing resource, especially for a deck like this where you maintain some form of resource in your hand, and you want to, in a sense. So, yeah. I think Mind Crush was great. It's just that I just had unfortunate timing with it. Then 3 Emptiness, because it's another way to stop Quill-Offs. They go play Pendulum, just Emptiness. Half the time they won't have an out to it. If they do, half the time you're gonna have a backup play anyways, so it shouldn't really matter. But Emptiness is just a good card anyways. You kind of need it just to beat Shadows, and Shadows is still huge. So plus the mirror. So yeah. Triple Trap's done. I mean, card's still good. You especially need it for Quill-Offs when they're doing their skill drain shit. So, yeah, that kind of helps. And, just Trap's done is Trap's done. Yeah. 2 Karma Cut. I never liked 3, and I feel like right now it's still not as good. Like, the dude who won was also playing Regeki Breaks, and I honestly would agree with him on that. It's just I didn't have space for it, and because I was, maining the Mind Crushes and then maxing out on other shit. But Karma Cuts, they're still good, but I feel like it's perfect at 2, because half the time you want other shit to deal with back row, and this doesn't deal with back row, so I don't know, I think 2 is good. And then Bottomless and Compulse, just Compulse because it was a staple. Deals with everything but Quill-Offs, which, I fought everything but Quill-Offs except for last round today, and then Bottomless because it mass steals with Quill-Offs, and, it hurts other decks too, but it's just mainly Quill-Offs, and it'll do some damage to other decks. But, yeah, that's 19 traps. I was, like, this build was kind of inspired by Jeff Jones. That's what I was kind of playing beforehand anyways, but I was still playing, like, rank up, and I was, like, I toted the back row lineup a little bit, but, I don't know. I liked how he did it, and it really felt just good. So, yeah, call me a copycat. I don't care. Then one other thing people might question is why there's no, like, Rises in the main deck. It's just the fact that right now I don't think Rise is that good because, like, bouncing half the time, like, isn't as good in a sense because, well, for one, Quill-Offs again, and then, like, the tempo of the deck, I feel like it goes in a different direction to where the Rises would slow it down to a degree, so I just don't think they're going to be that amazing. And I mean, it worked out honestly without the Rises. I never really liked them in the first place, but you need all the deck space you can get, so Rises just kind of don't really add as much as they could. But they're not bad, it's just not right now. Extra deck, 3 Dante, yeah. 2 Alucard, yup. 2 Downard. I honestly don't go into this that much. I honestly don't like them that much. That's why I was only playing 2, and because honestly, now with Fire Lake out, you go into this less, so this card's not as good, but you still use it sometimes. Fortune Tune. I actually never went into time. I'm good at not going into time, though, so but card's still good. Nightmare Shark, never made it, but it's still good. Giga Brill, I did make this to go game a couple times, and, push over some stuff, so it's good. Acid Golem, did make this a few times because, you know, skill drain existed, and then just get over some problematic threats anyways. So, yeah, Acid Golem's good. Tempo, I went into this for some reason, I don't remember why, but I wanted this just for, like, the mirror or some weird situation where I need to detach something, and I thought it was either this or the second Nightmare Shark, and it really didn't matter. Tri-Edge Levia, because it's just a breakthrough skill on legs, and it lets me hit over some shit, so it's actually a pretty good card, and, like, I'd play it again. But yeah, it's a good card. And then the only synchros, Virgil, like, honestly, I don't even know about playing 2, like, yeah, it's only synchro by the way, because it's the only one you can make, but, 2 Virgil, like, it might even be too much, because, like, half the time, honestly, the only time I go into Virgil is when I know I'm going to be able to keep my board presence with it, or that if I somehow lose any board presence, I'll recover it and not have to go into another Virgil for my extra deck. So, I don't know, like, I got 2 just because I thought I would need it, and, I mean, it's nice to have the second one just in case, but half the time you don't need it, so if you really need extra deck space for something else, you can probably only play 1, but 2 is just a good safety number, and, you know, it's, like, it's a card the deck needed, and it's amazing, so, yeah, Virgil's great, like, it wins so many games, so, yeah, side deck. I barely use most of these cards, so whatever. Maxis I never used today, because I only side these in against, like, the mirror, like, some weird rogue shit, but never used them. Moby is probably my most sided card, just because Shadow Mirror exists, and then, you know, hit back row, so, I don't know. Mobius, it's good. Plus, they waste dumbass shit on this, so it's like, they minus while I don't have this on board anymore. That actually helps me to get this off board, and I'm wasting your resources at the same time, so, like, I don't even care if you, like, warning or bottomless this thing. It's, like, it's just funny when people do it, because it's, like, I don't even want this on board. It's to bait out your back row and get rid of it so I can go off, so you're just helping me. 1 mind control for, like, the mirror and other shit. Like, yeah, it's good. And then the other card I mainly sided in was MSTs, because MST, it's just side in for sides, so, yeah, that's it. That's all you guys say about MST. Regeki, just for, like, rogue or some, if I knew something was going to overly spam, like Quill-Offs or, the one deck, the Vanities deck, or the Fiend deck, I would side this in, like, you know, something like that, but didn't really use it that much. Double Blackhorn, this was actually supposed to be, Dark Falls, because I was told before the tournament, like, a week ago, that Darkfall would still make monsters from deck go to grave, and I thought that was amazing, because you're removing more resources from their deck, and they're going to have less to do stuff with, but, that ruling was revoked, and then when we walked in today, people were looking for Blackhorns, and I was like, why? And they were like, oh, well, the judges said that Blackhorn will work for if you pendulum summon more than 1, and I asked them, and they're like, yeah, that's how it's going to be ruled from now on, because someone higher up said so, so I was lucky to still have 2 Blackhorn, but it never came in handy because it led to my Brick Hand, but it's still an amazing card. It's just, I got really unlucky. Breakthrough skills for, like, artifacts or other shit that, like, really needs their effects. I generally don't side this in, but, you know, it's there in case I need it. And then the other card I side in a lot is Wiretap. For, you know, those back row heavy decks, it comes in handy, so, But, yeah, that is my Burning Abyss deck. Honestly, I feel like it's pretty standard, just because I did look at the lists of other people's. It was just a few numbers of back row lineups, really, that was different, but, I'm pretty comfortable with the deck. It's just, I gotta toy with a few choices, but in general, the deck, you know, synergy is gonna remain the same, so it matters, but, you know, whatever. I think, obviously, deck is great. It makes people so pissed off, and I understand why, too. Like, I feel dirty whenever I play this deck, but it's just, yeah, it's too good, so, I don't know. Fun fact, I wasn't actually gonna play this deck right away. Like, the only reason why I played this deck is because, why did I play this deck? It's because I felt like going in Quilla format, having a lot of back row would be good, and Shadows didn't play that much back row, so I was like, okay, I want to play a back row deck that's, like, relevant, and this deck was relevant, and yeah, that's the only reason why. I was, like, dead set on Shadows for, like, 2 weeks before the event, but then this deck was like, hey, I have back row. Okay, yeah, so that's the only reason why I played this deck, and it worked, and Fire Lake's amazing, so yeah, but anyways, that is it for this. If you got any suggestions for me, leave them down below. Like, I'm trying to still fucking tweak the shit out of this and, like, get my numbers right for what I personally like, But I think, in general, how the deck runs, it's good. I just need to tweak a couple things here and there. And, yeah. So, anyways, that'll be for this. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Such, blah. Here comes sub. And later, guys.